Hello, my name is David Lewis, and I'm here at the Training Wedgeless Foundation. Let's talk about Mound meetings. Mound meetings will be a short video series where I will be interviewing heads of organizations and heads of rec parks who focus in youth baseball. I will be asking them questions that are relevant to their park and other topics that they might be interested in talking about. So today I'm here with Mr. Howze. I'm doing an interview at Showcase Baseball, and I'm here to pick his brain. So Mr. Howze, what are some characteristics that are unique to your program, and what separates your program from the rest of baseball programs out there?
Building character through the kids.
What sort of character are you trying to build? Like
Learning how to fail. Learning how to fail and still be successful, because baseball is a failures game. You're gonna fail more than you succeed in baseball. So that builds character, that teaches kids how to get through adversity. That teaches kids how to understand that if you make a mistake, or if you make an error, or if you're gonna continue to do that. But how are you gonna change that? You're gonna change it by dropping your head, or you're gonna change it by, okay, maybe I'll pick my teammate up, or maybe I'll get it and I'll go back and get it back on the offensive end. If we make a couple of errors on defense, okay, I'm gonna come and get a hit. Or if I strike out, I'm gonna make a play on defense. So it's just building character through adversity and through failure.
So switching a team as a player is a very hard thing to do. I was wondering, as a coach, do you feel the same impact?
Sure, because they're invested in the kid. When you're invested in a kid, or you're invested in anything, that you're putting your time and your energy in something that you're passionate about, then it's going to be personal. You know what I mean? But me as a coach, I'm always wanting to help kids, regardless of if they're in my program or they're with someone else. I'm always invested in that kid because I know him.
You have a lot of really high quality coaches in your program. What do you look for when you're finding coaches?
Their passion. They have to be passionate about what they're doing. Knowledge is key as well. And I always look at a coach as like, okay, if your son's not at practice, are you going to be there? Or if your son's not at the game, are you going to still be there? Or if you have a son that's involved, I want you to be out here for these other 11 kids, and not just your child.
What makes Showcase unique? How does it separate itself from other programs?
We're not only coaches. Our organization, we're big on teaching fundamentals, teaching the game the right way, learning from losses. I'm real big on you win some, you learn some.
To build off that last point, what do you look for in a family, and what do you expect out of your families and your players?
They have the right approach. They're dressing like baseball players. They're thinking like baseball players. So practice is a big emphasis on Showcase is what we kind of it's kind of our stronghold is making sure that all of our kids are at practice, whether it's indoors or whether it's outside, making sure that the kids are getting what they need.
So you try and develop high quality men. You're trying to build up these men's characters and these kids to be great men. What do you expect from them after they leave your program?
For my players is to make sure that they can reach their goals, their ultimate goals. Whether it's to make their high school team, or whether it's to go to college, and hopefully, maybe we get a guy to sign, professional contract. But my ultimate standard is to make sure that every kid that comes through our program is able to make a high school team.
So what does a practice look like for Showcase? How do you like to structure it, and what would it consist of?
Well, we do stuff every day. Even if we're not practicing on the field, we're training. We train every day of the week. Whether it's in here, taking cuts, if it's outside, in the bullpens, getting some reps on the mound, or whether it's on the field, team practice. So we're doing something constantly every day. We have it set up in our program where a kid doesn't have to miss a day of working out with baseball. Whether it's pitching, throwing bullpens, whether it's in here training, getting hacks inside, or whether it's outside in a team atmosphere. So we have it set up so you're constantly doing something baseball related every day.
What do you expect your players to do when they're at home, and how do you expect them to prepare for their games, tournaments, and practices?
The same things that we're doing when they come to train or when they come to practice. Just making sure they're implementing it at home, because that's where you get better outside of practice. Making sure that you're doing the things at home that you're taking from either you're getting lessons or at practice. Just go home and just follow up with what you've been taught.
How many tournaments would you play in? What's your outlook when you're entering a tournament?
Well, in the fall, we try to have it half of what we do in the spring. So in the spring, we're roughly 10 to 12 tournaments, including the World Series at the end of the year. In the fall, we try to go half, either 5 or 6 tournaments in the fall. Well, now with the pandemic going on, so we try to play as much as we possibly can because the kids missed the whole spring. So the fall we're trying to actually catch up from the spring season.
How does your perspective change when you're coaching an older team versus a younger team? And do you coach them in a different way, or is it the same mentality throughout the entire time?
Well, with the younger kids, we kind of modify things a little bit. We try to keep it basic, but at the same time, we're still teaching. With the older kids, we put a lot of things in as far as bunt defenses. We do the same thing with the younger kids, but we just kind of modify it a little bit more. But everything else is still baseball. We still teach them bunt defenses. We still teach them how to bunt. We still teach them how to secondary lead. We still teach them how to balance on the rubber. So everything is the same. We just kind of modify it so we don't just choke them with a lot of things that we're doing with the older kids.
So you've played baseball at the highest level with the Cubs and the Expos, and how did that affect you as a coach, and how did that impact your coaching style?
When I played, things were a lot more simpler, but I'm still an old school coach. I still believe in getting dirty. I still believe in fundamentals. But some things are just different. You have to just look at it a different way because you have to coach kids differently now. You can't coach them how I was brought up. Now is kids that are coming out of college. Kids are coming out of high school. Kids that play minor league baseball to come back to my organization to give me some insight on what's being taught new. It's cool being able to have someone that's just coming off the field, maybe a college or a professional guy come in and show me some new drills or show me what they've learned, and I can kind of piggyback off of it and bring it to the kids.
So what's your favorite memory as a coach and as a player? You've had a lot of experience with baseball, and I was wondering what's your favorite part about baseball?
Me as a player was getting drafted. Me getting a phone call, telling me, hey, you've been selected to, you've been drafted, Montreal Expos, and that was a big day. I still hold on to that and still talk about it to my kids, and me being able to say that I've been drafted and kind of give back some of that passion that I have to these kids here.
What's your favorite part about coaching?
Seeing a kid learn. I may have a kid that just come to me and they don't, their self-esteem is down, their confidence is down, they can't catch, they may not be able to throw properly, and at the end of the year, kids' confidence is up, they can catch, he's throwing properly, and that's my reward. And it's easy to coach kids that already have that skill set, but getting a kid that doesn't really have it, but he has that passion, that desire to want to do it, that's big for me.
So I remember when I grew up, I played a lot of rec ball. I had some of my favorite memories there as a baseball player, and it really helped me build the foundations to be the baseball player that I am now. How does it impact your program, and what's your program's view towards rec ball?
Rec ball is very important. Half of my teams actually come from the rec. That's where we were established. I still think that some kids need to continue to play rec ball just to get that confidence builder, just to get that that skill set that they desire.
For someone who doesn't know very much about youth sports, what's the main difference between a rec ball team and a travel team?
Well, I think playing on a travel team, kids are going to get a little bit more exposure. As far as playing more competitive, but rec ball is the base to all that. I think kids need to start off playing rec ball to learn the fundamentals instead of just jumping into travel ball, because a lot of kids lose that desire if they don't have a foundation and they come right into travel ball. And they're not getting the playing time that they need. They haven't been developed, and I think they lose sight, and it kind of drives kids out of baseball when they can't find that love. You got to have a love first before you jump into something.
So, Mr. Howze, baseball is a very special sport to me, and I was wondering, what made it so special to you?
Just a challenge, man. The IQ challenge. I love situations. I love playing chess with coaches. I love my kids to be able to meet that challenge. Being able to coach the small detail things. Pitchers, PFP, pitchers running over the first base, ball on the right side. Being able to cover first base. Stuff like that, is tedious in practice. You go over it and over and over, but it's nothing like seeing it, perfected in a game.
So, Mr. Howze, you and your wife, Miss Renee, have done an amazing job keeping your costs down, and I'm sure that's had a massive impact on your families and players during this pandemic, making sure they've been able to stay in the game and haven't been able to drop out or, God forbid, quit baseball altogether. And I was just wondering, what's the impact that's made on your families and your players?
Well, honestly, again, I'm happy to be here. This is something very important for us to get the word out in terms of how our partnership has really helped grow our program. But to answer your question, the demographics of who we serve, a lot of them are some single-family households, and they're either one income working or whatever their dynamic is in the household. The issue is Showcase is a place that they can bring their kids to be involved in and know that they're actually able to learn and be a part of something that is very positive and something that they can feel that they trust and know their kids are in, because we create a family, home-like type environment for our program. We want them to know that it's not just, business, all about business. We want to really develop these kids. And this guy right here is real big on making sure these kids have good baseball mental toughness and they understand about building their baseball IQ. So it's more than just what the physical part and aspect is. It's about building their mind and making sure that their mental toughness is strong.